Call Drew Moak of USA Benefits Group. He can help you with any of your health insurance needs. Drew is an Ole Miss grad located in Mississippi and licensed in 7 states. He works with the nation's second largest health insurance brokerage with access to 35 different carriers, regular health plans, to life insurance, to dental and vision, and even Medicare. He has it all covered. Now more than ever, it is critical to have a health insurance agent who is local and accessible. So call Drew Moak at 601-953-8449. 601-953-8449 and get your free quote today. Welcome into this Monday edition of The Flagship. I'm your host, Zach Berry. Joining me as he does each and every Monday, Grayson Weir. Big weekend, Ole Miss sports. Big as in some big positives. There were some big negatives. We'll get into that here shortly. Before we do want to remind you, the show is brought to you each and every day by the College Corner. 3 locations, Oxford, Flowood, Ridgeland. If you have not seen by now, they have got the new Ole Miss Baseball Cream jersey in stock. You can go get it in store or online at collegecornerstore.com. They also have the Juice for President buttons and signs for the yard. If you want to represent Juice, the Ole Miss mascot, put it in the yard, put it on your T-shirt with a button. You can support the Ole Miss Rebels in 2024 in this election year by voting for Juice. Go check it out, collegecornerstore.com, and represent, I guess, who we think is probably the best mascot in college sports. So all of that, College Corner. We appreciate them powering the show and the Talk of Champions studio. Grayson, it was an eventful weekend on the diamond for Ole Miss with a sweep over Morehead State. Kind of back to homeostasis for Mike Bianco and the Rebs over there. Basketball, not so much. Man, I got down 2 touchdowns early. And man, it just spiraled. Chris Beard talks a lot about effort and toughness and playing, quote, Ole Miss basketball. He was not pleased. He's offered to pay people back for coming to the game. It's funny talking about it before, and then when I finally pulled up the SEC tournament bracket, Ole Miss is still in the second round. They're the 10 seed. Play number 7 seed Texas A&M. So A&M's got to turn right back around and play Ole Miss. Which I guess if you just go out there and just don't give a shit and your effort's terrible, sure, you can beat somebody 2 times in what? How many days? Math is hard, but
5, 4.
Yeah. So, but Ole Miss could win. Then you slip up against Kentucky, and then you find yourself in the semifinals. Now, at this point, Ole Miss is going to have to win the whole damn thing, in my opinion. But yeah, just a weird Saturday. There's been kind of, I don't know. I don't want to ever completely fully say that a team just quit or didn't care, because I don't know. I'm not in the locker room. I wasn't physically there. And to be honest, we didn't watch it from start to finish. I caught most of it, but I didn't watch the entire game. So I'm not going to question the effort or desire of somebody to want to win a basketball game. But after hearing what Beard said, it's kind of hard to believe that the players didn't just kind of close up shop and, take the proverbial basketball and go home, right?
Yeah, you're not going to question their effort. I am. I think that was pretty pathetic on Saturday, and that's okay. I'm actually all right with it, because there wasn't win, lose, or otherwise. Obviously, you always want to win. You play to win. You go out and you want to win. But once you go down 2 tutties early, what are you doing? It's roll over and all right, on to the next one. We'll see him again on Thursday. At that point, it was pretty much locked in, barring, I think, if Georgia beat Auburn, on Saturday night, which obviously everyone knew wasn't going to happen. But I think if Georgia beat Auburn, then there was a chance that Ole Miss would get relegated to the 11, Georgia would get bumped to the 10. I wasn't entirely sure about how it was going to shake out, but it was pretty clear that Ole Miss was going to play Tennessee. I'm sorry, Ole Miss was going to play Texas A&M again on Thursday. So once you go down early at home, the crowd wasn't in it. People left pretty quick into the second half if they were even, still there at halftime.
Yeah.
It is what it is. You chalk it up as a loss. The effort wasn't there. I mean, they played hard for the first 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and then it was kind of just let's mail it in, let's get this one over, let's look ahead to Thursday. And if I'm Chris Beard, I'm not happy with that, as he wasn't. He was embarrassed by the performance, and rightfully so. However, if you're Chris Beard, if I'm Chris Beard, you go out there and you say that, you chastise the team. Hey, we can't do that. You got to show effort, then flush it, move on. No big deal. It could have been worse. Even if you won that game, it doesn't change your standing. You still have to probably win the SEC tournament this week to get in. So it is what it is. I think the effort wasn't there. And I don't blame them. It's unfortunate. You don't want to see a lack of effort out on the court, no matter what things look like in terms of brackets and etc. But it is what it is. If I'm a college basketball player down by 14 plus points in the first 17 minutes, or whatever it was, I think it was even less than that. It is what it is. You just got to chalk it up as an L and look ahead to Thursday, where it is hard to beat a team twice in a span of a week. It's a difficult thing to do. Jalen Murray showed some life. Morrell continues to be that. He seems to be kind of that consistent point on the team where you're going to get at least a good day from him. 4 from 13 from the field. Not a great stat line, but he was there. He was distributing. He was getting the job done when he needed to in a really ugly game. So all in all, flush it, move on. Let's look ahead to Thursday. Let's take the positives, flush all the negatives, and come back with vengeance. Go out, beat Texas A&M. Kentucky, I mean, I think more than likely you're going to lose to Kentucky in, Lexington South. That stadium on Friday is going to be covered in blue, as it always is. But if somehow you can beat Kentucky and then you somehow beat Alabama in the semifinals, there's a slim chance you get in without winning the championship. But at this point, it certainly seems as though
They're good.
you
Yeah.
got to
I
go the
would
whole way.
say beat A&M, who may not be in the tournament, but they're a fringe bubble team. But
Yep,
it's an A&M team that has a lot of signature wins over tournament teams.
they're good.
Then beat Kentucky, who is a tournament team. Then beat Alabama, it might, because that would be what, 23-11 at that point
Yeah, and
with
and
some
and
quad one wins.
you're assuming here just based off of how good this Tennessee team is. I mean, they're awesome. Dalton Connect is incredible. He is so much fun to watch. Um,
Yeah.
as a proud Tennessee hater, I have nothing respect for Dalton Connect and what he has done this year. So you're assuming if you make it to the championship, and that's a giant, I mean, largest font possible. If you're up against Tennessee, you lose a close game to Tennessee, you may be squeaked in on the back end just because you did beat Kentucky and you did beat Alabama, but you got to start with A&M, and it's gonna be a tough game, and then you gotta worry about Kentucky, which I mean, if we're being
Hey,
realistic, I don't know, man. But hey, any given
Kentucky,
Friday,
a John Calipari Kentucky team laying an egg or, you know, not performing well. We've seen that movie before.
could
Uh,
happen. Got to beat
yeah,
A&M
I mean,
first.
yeah, I was gonna say not counting on it to happen, but if it were to happen and Ole Miss got to the championship, never know. Also depends on what else is going on around the country, other teams on the bubble, other,
Yep.
any bid stealers, all the automatic qualifiers winning their respective conferences. That's a big part of the chips falling where they need to. for a program like Ole Miss, who right now is not in the field at all,
No. And
not
and
even
it
close.
it seems unlikely. That's a good point about the bracket stealers and the bid stealers. Um, you're looking at like St. Mary's and Gonzaga, both kind of. I mean, St. Mary's is in, but Gonzaga's kind of on the bubble now. They're probably in, so that bumps Ole Miss even one spot further down. You're looking at Longwood gets the upset in there. Maybe you
Yeah.
like it. Just there's a lot of. It seems unlikely that Ole Miss is going to make the
Yeah.
NCAA tournament, and I don't know if
Basically, the easy way to look at this, if you're not familiar with the term bid stealer, you're not picking up what we're putting down. Any obscure conference, if the 1 seed doesn't win it, it's bad.
Yes. Yes.
Because a
And then
lot now, most of the time, those 1 seeds, if they don't win their conference, they're out. But if the net's good enough, they have enough wins, sometimes they could still get in, and
Indiana
that
State.
4 seed gets in.
Yeah. So we'll see. It seems unlikely. And then I guess the next thing, we're getting ahead of ourselves here, but do you even accept an NIT bid? Probably, right? You got to go play in the NIT.
The way Chris Beard was talking after the game, I don't know if he would.
That's what I was wondering too, but we got to beat A&M first. Let's start there.
Yeah. All right, let's flip over to baseball. Impressive weekend for Ole Miss. Taking all 3 games against Morehead State, 10-3 on Friday, run rule Saturday 13-1, and then 6-5 on Sunday. I think the biggest story for me over the weekend has to be Liam Doyle looks to be the dude to round out that weekend rotation. Grayson Saulnier's he's been up and down. He's got the talent though. So I think that's big for Ole Miss when trying to piece it together after losing Hunter Elliott and Xavier Rivas. But yeah, I think that 8 Ks and 3 1/3 that'll play. That'll play all day. Gunnar Dennis, decent outing, 5 innings, 5 Ks, only gave up 1 earned run, scattered 5 hits. So yeah, I think the lineup is starting to come around. We've talked about it the last couple of weeks. These guys just need to mesh, get in a rhythm, figure out what their role is. I mean, Andrew Fisher is just ripping the cover off the baseball.
That
Ethan
one
Leger right
bomb was
now.
absurd.
Do what?
He turned on that one pitch. Oh my God. I don't think that ball has landed yet.
Some of the exit velos over the weekend were pretty eye popping, and yeah, just hitting baseballs very far. I know it's Morehead State. You don't have to remind me of that, but beating teams that you're supposed to beat the way you're supposed to beat them is paramount for measuring success in the non-conference. I think early on, because look, people, it's baseball. We're gonna beat this horse till it's just disintegrated, but we need to make sure to remind everyone baseball is weird. People lose dumb games all the time. I think LSU lost to Xavier over the weekend, if I'm not mistaken. Duke went into the dash, went into Winston-Salem and took 2 of 3 from Wake Forest.
Yeah, that was an electric series.
And that's the #1 team in the country, Wake Forest. That's Wake Forest, who national runner-up, and added Chase Burns, who throws 119 miles an hour. It's a really good baseball team. It's not like Duke's some crappy program. That's a good program, but on the road beating #1 Wake Forest in the ACC opener. But then you've got, these random midweeks and these random non-conference games that people slip up and lose all the time. Ole Miss handled the business over the weekend. What'd you think?
Yeah, I think it's kind of fun in this era. I mean, we're seeing it in every sport, baseball, basketball, football, every sport. The transfer portal brings this significant element of parity to the game. And we're seeing a lot of it, in baseball this year. There are big teams going down in games they should not lose. And Ole Miss, it's certainly part of that. You shouldn't have lost to High Point. You shouldn't have lost to Arkansas State, Hawaii, questionable, but all kind of weird losses. And then now you're looking at a schedule where you have turned things around of late. You've won 6 in a row, 6 in a row, more, 3, Morehead State, Memphis, Iowa, 2. Yeah, 6 in a row.
Yeah.
Um, you're in a good spot. I know it's Morehead State. I get it, right? You're looking at ULM on Tuesday, and then next weekend's the first big test. South Carolina's a good program. This is your first opportunity to really see what you're made of. And I'm going to continue to bang the drum here for Gunnar Dennis. I mean, we knew he was going to have to be the Friday guy for Ole Miss, and he had to step up, and he hasn't to his fullest extent yet. He's not to where he needs to be for SEC play, but he's getting there and he looks good. And I'm going to continue to bang the drum for him. I think he's 3-0 now. Had a great outing on Friday, 5 innings, 5 strikeouts, 1 earned, 1 walk. Like that's all you can ask for. So if he can continue to throw consistently, I mean, we're not asking necessarily for great, you're asking for consistent, really good. And then you can get that same out of a guy like Liam Doyle, who looked awesome. Again, bad lineup, whatever, but 8
A little,
strikeouts.
little bit of Doug Nikhazy flavor to him.
Yeah, big time. And then you've got Grayson going out there, and I'll always stand up for my fellow Graysons, but he's still young.
Bianco
He's still
did
figuring
say,
it out.
I saw Bianco did say, well, I guess he said it, but everybody saw it. JT Quinn was up in the pen throwing on Sunday. He was available. So I don't think they've entirely closed the book on JT Quinn throwing on the weekends. But hey, the rotation this weekend now, it's going to get harder.
Yeah, much harder.
It's going to get a lot harder. You look at the top 25 right now over at D1 baseball. Arkansas is number 1 at 13-2. LSU 2, 14-2. A&M still undefeated. They're 16-0. Tennessee at 5, 16-1. Florida 10-5. Vandy 14-3. Alabama 15-1. Auburn 12-3. South Carolina is hot as Ole Miss right now. 5-0 week. They're 13-3, ranked 20th in the country. The SEC, look, duh. The SEC is going to be tough. It always is. But yeah, weird road game on Tuesday at Monroe.
I don't know why or how that happened.
Throwing them a bone, big. Well, I don't know. I mean, are ULM fans going to show up?
Yeah. I
For
guess
an
it's spring
SEC
break,
opponent?
right? So that's probably why you can afford to go on the road.
Yeah, it's probably why
It's
Ole
weird.
Miss wants to go on the road.
Yeah.
I know I saw highlights over the weekend. I mean, there was nobody in right field on Sunday.
Yeah.
But yeah, big weekend series. I would assume that would be students are back by Friday.
Yeah. So
Maybe
maybe
trickling
not to
in
the fullest
Friday,
extent. Yeah.
Saturday. Um, I don't know. I don't know about you. When I was in college, I planned on getting back for that weekend
Me
so I
too.
could have the 2 days, 3 days to recover.
Yep.
So yeah, stiff test over the weekend, and that following Tuesday, you got to go to Pearl to play Southern Miss, and then you travel to Tennessee. So, but hey, look, at this point, after the weird start, 12-5, you can't ask for much more. With
Oh, and what
the
you
shake,
said.
like the shakeup in the rotation is the biggest thing for me.
Yeah. And well, when you were
What?
going down the top 25 too, all of those teams that you mentioned, a lot of them had 2, 3 losses. Ole Miss
Yeah.
isn't that far behind. And the 2 games that you really shouldn't have lost early in the season were the earliest in the season in a foreign, for all intents and purposes, like a foreign country. You're flying to Hawaii, the time change, the schedule, the flight issues, whatever. You're
Mm-hmm.
looking at a situation where Ole Miss should have only 3 losses right now or less. Um, it's not time to panic. This weekend will be a really, telling for what this team can actually do down the stretch, I think, at least.
Yeah. Yeah. I think. Yeah. I mean, we've said it already on the show before, but I don't care who you are. Any team that loses their top 2 pitchers on the weekend is going to struggle out the gate. You got to
This team would
define
be
role.
so good if they had them too.
Yeah, you got to define new roles. Guys have to step up. Maybe moving from the bullpen to the rotation. Maybe looking at, hey, I'm going to be a midweek rotational guy, or I'm going to be in the bullpen start the season. And now you're thrust into, hey, we need you to go out and throw 5 or 6 on Friday. It's a big change. So 12-5. You would imagine 13-5 heading into SEC play, and it's a Tuesday game, so you get Wednesday, Thursday to prepare for South Carolina, who is a good ball club. They've got some pop in that lineup. So yeah, it'll be a fun opener for SEC play. But yeah, as I ran through the top 25, I mean, again, it's the murderer's row of all murderer's rows in sports is SEC baseball. So
Oh yeah. But it's wide open. I mean, it really is. It's wide open. There are different everybody who's supposed to be in this top 25 has had games where they've struggled this year. The parity is there. There's an opportunity for Ole Miss to just play well enough. All you have to do is play well enough. Let's just get into the field and go from there.
yeah. All right. Basketball Thursday nightcap 7 p.m. It'll be on SEC Network. So yeah, hey, this will be honestly. Look, Chris Beard didn't like how Saturday went, but I think he's chomping at the bit to see how this team reacts.
Yes.
Hey, let's see some resolve. Let's see how we bounce back. How is this team's, let's see some gumption. Let's see how you respond to adversity. Let's see how you respond to, hey, we're probably not playing in the NCAA tournament at all. Probably not playing any postseason basketball. Do you care? Matthew Morrell.
Playing with house money.
Presumably done as an Ole Miss Rebel. How do you want to go out? How do you want to be remembered? So, it's a free shot. Neutral site. A&M, again, like we said, hard to beat somebody in a quick turnaround. But yeah, win on Thursday and then see what happens against Kentucky in should be a fun environment.
Electric.
For an underdog. It'll basically be a road game. So, yeah. So yeah, baseball Tuesday, basketball Thursday, and then baseball obviously this weekend. Ole Miss hosting South Carolina. If you're going for that series when you get into town, head on over to College Corner, snag you that Krispy Kreme jersey that is just so nice. And you can also go to collegecornerstore.com, get it there, get your juice for president, button, sign for the yard. Speaking of, it's March 11th and I got to get out there and get on this grass, Grayson. It's out of control. I got to cut the grass today.
I did not think that we were going to be cutting grass in the middle of March. I did not, but here we are.
So that's good
Spring
though.
is here.
Healthy yard, healthy grass. So yeah, stay locked in, omspirit.com. We will have coverage, baseball all this week, coverage leading up to Thursday's game in the SEC tournament. We will have podcasts. Most of this week, we mentioned spring break for the big kids. My kids are on spring break, so couple days where we may not have a flagship, but just kind of like last week, I'm going to pre-record as many as I can today, so you can have something to listen to this week. But we will have coverage. Jake, Ben, and Chuck and I will have stuff for you at omspirit.com. If you're a listener of the podcast and you're not a member, get on over there. It's only $1. We've got wall-to-wall coverage of all things basketball, baseball, football recruiting never stops. We've got that. Spring football will be cranking back up after spring break. And yeah, so for Grayson over there, I am Zach. This has been this Monday edition of the Flagship. Appreciate y'all tuning in. Till next time, we out of here.